there was so much sexual energy in this body that I had tapped down into my identity of being a good girl, of being the girl that made the babies. I had a career, I had a marriage, and I had children. I had the fucking triple crown of being a woman. I mean, can you do all three at the same time and chew gum? I did it. And I did it by the age of 42.
Welcome to Come Talk with Amy, the podcast where sex isn't whispered about, it's talked about out loud. I'm Amy, your host and intimacy coach, here to spark raw, playful, and unfiltered conversations about relationships, desire, and everything in between. No shame, no scripts, just real talk about what really turns us on. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Come Talk with Amy. Yes, we have the amazing Pamela Madsen in the house today. Welcome, Pamela.
Virtually in the house. Happy to be here.
Pamela Madsen is a certified somatic sex educator with a master's degree in education. She is the founder and president of Back to the Body Retreats, now in its 15th year. That's amazing. She also is a pioneer in fertility and sex advocacy. She was formerly the founder and first executive director of the American Fertility Association. She is a veteran speaker, educator, and has been a columnist for The Huffington Post, Psychology Today, and more. She has been called, you guys, this is probably my favorite title, a vagipreneur, as well as an OG in the world of sexual wellness. She has so many other things. One other shout out is she is the author of Shameless, How I Ditched the Diet, Got Naked, Found True Pleasure, and Still Got Home in Time to Cook Dinner. Yes. Welcome,
Still doing
Pamela.
it. You know, our biggest thing this year was the big spread in the LA Times and Vogue magazine. I never thought I'd be in Vogue. You know, I wasn't the classic Vogue girl. But, you know, if you live long enough, Amy, many things can happen for you.
Yes, we love it. I mean, let's delve in. So, you were such a powerhouse, such a badass in this space. And like, you guys, this is just going to be such a luscious conversation. Before we delve in, what is making you hot and bothered lately?
You know, I think it's really around the sexual authenticity model, which is something that one of my colleagues, Kenneth Play, helped design. And that's getting me, because as I teach women, I look at myself, right? And so in the sexual authenticity model, here I'm diving in while I'm answering your question. That's when you're an OG. You could do two things at the
Yes.
same. I'm big brownies. So the sexual authenticity model is about aligning your, what you see as your desires, your actions, and, your community. And how is this aligning? Is it an aligner? Is it not? And if you want to live an authentic as fuck life, you have to sort of get everything in a line. Otherwise, so I need to look at like, wow, do my actions actually line up with my desires? Am I worried about my identity and my community? Am I willing to give up my identity for my truth? Or does my truth and my identity line up? And so what gets me hot and bothered these days is playing with the Rubik's Cube of my own life because it like never ends. It never ends. And so like I'm moving shit around. Okay, here's my desire. Great. Am I concerned about my identity? In my community? Does it match up? Do my actions align up with my desires? Where am I out of alignment? Where am I in alignment? And so, as I'm teaching and working with women around the sexual authenticity model, I'm doing my own work because you can't teach without constantly working your own shit, right?
Yes, 1,000%. Woo!
Now, I just taught
Look
you
at
all
the
the sexual authenticity model, a real
Oh my
short
God.
form of it, but it's the same.
That's amazing. Yes. Already coming in hot. I love that, Pamela. Oh my God. And You go in depth about this in your book, about your own journey, and I love that you say, like, it is a continual journey, like, you have to, constantly, expanding, right? I would love for you to tell our listeners a little bit about what the journey into your sexual exploration and liveliness looked like.
So you're talking about the beginning, and again, the sexual authenticity model fits perfectly there. So I was 42. I had been married for over 20 years already because I got married when I was just 20, and I had my kids. We had gone through infertility. I had my children through in vitro fertilization back when in the day when it was brand new. And the beginning of my book basically is me with my girlfriends and my sister, who I called my martini circle. And they're talking about their lives. They're talking about their lives. They're talking about, we didn't have polyamory the way it's like every other word on social media today. It wasn't, about consensual non monogamy. We weren't fancy. We just cheated. Okay. That's all there was. You
I love
cheated
that.
or you didn't cheat. To cheat or not to cheat? That is the question. So people were cheating. All my girlfriends were. And so interesting. You always think it's the men. The sleepers are the women. The women are the sleepers. And so my sister, my best friends, they were my colleagues. They were all having relationships outside of their marriages. And they were happy, baby. They were happy and sexy and doing it. And they were like swishing their hips and they were alive. And I was married, like so fucking. And I was a virgin when I got married. And, my marriage bed was good. We had it down to a science, licky, licky, sucky, sucky, fucky, fucky. Like
I love
we
that.
could get it all done like 10 minutes. Everybody was happy and
You
ready
had
for a
your routine.
BLT. Yeah, like get it done before the kids wake up and make pancakes. So, like, we could do it all. And watching their aliveness made me realize that there was so much sexual energy in this body that I had tapped down into my identity of being a good girl, of being the girl that made the babies, who,
Yes.
founded the American Fertility Association. I had a career, I had a marriage, and I had children. I had the fucking triple crown of being a woman. I mean, can you do all three at the same time and chew gum? I did it. And I did it by the age of 42. I was probably even better known in the fertility world than I am in the sex world, even though I'm a force in the
You're a
sex
force.
world. And I was, testifying in front of the FDA and the CDC. These were letters that meant something, in the past, in the way back wheel,
I hear that as a former WHO
right?
employee.
And yeah, this is, back when these organizations mattered. I would speak in front of 5,000 reproductive endocrinologists. So I had this identity of being what I thought it was to be a grown ass woman, to have it all, the husband, the children, the career. And I was enormously successful. But there was desire.
The butt.
Yeah. There was desire that I saw in the eyes of my friends. I didn't have, and that I noticed, I wanted. And so I had to confront what I thought the world wanted of me as a woman. And I had to confront my identity. And so first I did it in secret. Then, because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I don't want to go into all those details because we'll spend the whole hour talking about it. They can read my book. But,
Right.
I first did it in a closeted way. And what was the way? I was having, think Sex in the City, Samantha, if you could all are in the age group of
We
watching
love a
Sex in the
Samantha.
City. And when she went and had her first erotic massage, she went to have a happy ending. So that's what I was after, because that meant I wasn't cheating on my man. And I didn't necessarily want to fuck anyone. I wanted to feel what was going on. I wanted to feel another man's hands on my body. And so that was the goal. And I went through a lot. I changed my identity and I left the American Fertility Association and I aligned with, some drama. There was drama and some great times and some not so great times. as I confronted who people thought I was, who I thought I was, as I went deeper and deeper somatically into my own body and came up against my own truth. And I had to match up my truth against my desires. And I had to shift what my actions. You got to actually change what you do. So I did all three.
Absolutely.
And for like a whole minute and a half of my life, maybe the next decade, my actions aligned with my identity, my truthful identity, and parts of my community, some of which were new. And that's what I continue to do today. And that's how I founded Back to the Body. Because on my journey of self discovery into the somatic world, the Tantra world, the BDSM world, I did a lot of the worlds. As the
Yeah.
worlds turn, I did them. I was disappointed a lot about the safety of women in sex spaces. I was disappointed a lot in the quality of attention and presence that were brought to me and the understanding of women's bodies. And I moved forward and I became a certified sexological body worker, which is a profession that is recognized in the state of California. So know that we are a recognized profession in California
Amazing.
and in other countries as well. I live and work in California mostly now.
California is always at the forefront.
You know, it's a beautiful space. I'm a New Yorker. I landed here a year and a half ago. And so at any rate, I decided to create what I never had, which
Yes.
was a female-led container, for lack of a better word, retreat program for women who want to go deeper into their own sexuality, and it's a sexual wellness program. And my practitioners are sexological body workers and or have been trained by me. We work, as I said, in a female-led container. We work in a triadic model. So there are no secrets. Women coordinator picks women up from their sessions, takes them down, holds them in a nest where women can process together, where there's safety. Because where there is no safety, there is no pleasure for women. One-way touch, there's no magical sword of light that is going to appear in your session wanting to be sucked or stroked or fucked. We work with one-way touch, and the men keep their clothing on. We wear gloves for intimate touch. The men sign contracts with me. And we've been doing this actually not for 15 years. We're going on our 17th year. And by holding a tight container, it's extraordinary what happens for women, even in 1 week. It's amazing because it's all about immersion, Amy. It's all about women being able to leave their lives at home and really dive deeply into their body. And there's a huge difference between day one, day two, day three, day four, day five, etc., which is amazing and beautiful to watch. And so here we are. I don't know. That was probably a
Yes.
lot, but that's where I am, like from the beginning of Pamela Madsen time, kind of.
Yes, you took us on a whole journey.
Yes. And from New York to the high desert in Joshua Tree.
Ah, I love it. I love it. It's interesting because both of my parents are from California, but I now live in New York. So we've, exchanged
Yes.
we're at the different ends of the spectrum there. But that safety piece is so, so key, especially for women. I mean, for everyone, but especially for women to really be able to tap into their eroticism. And I love what you have built in order to help people, for women to feel that. I would love to know too, like when women come to you and feeling numb, what does that look like? What do you hear?
I have low libido. I have
Yes.
no desire. I don't feel turned on in my body anymore. Women come with body issues. Like, I don't feel beautiful. I'm too fat, too thin, too old. I have menopause. I don't understand it. And mostly they're bored. They don't know it, but mostly they're just bored. Low libido equals boredom, mostly. They may have been with the same partner for a very, very, very long time. And while that may be a dependable meal, after a while, that Swanson TV dinner is not that delicious to eat anymore. You don't desire that meal anymore. So it's not that you have low desire, it just means you don't wanna eat that Salisbury steak again. You want something different, and not every partner wants to go on the journey. Not every
Right.
partner wants to have that. Not every woman has a partner. Some women are going through transitions, whether it's relational, could be medical transitions as well. Women also come who are sex educators and don't have any place else to go to continue to grow themselves erotically. I still do this work for me. I'm in
Yeah.
my 60s. I need this. I need this work. It's like my practice. And so we've had big name sex educators come here. Sex with Emily has been here. Jaya has been here. They weren't here to fix anything. Well, they
Huge.
might have been, but that's their privacy. They were here to grow themselves, just like I grow myself. So women come for that. Women come who've had trauma. Women come for relationship issues. I mean, name a reason they have it. They want to explore a kink. They can't orgasm. They don't even know what their arousal feels like. So they tell me lots of different things. And our community, we get the odd 33-year-old and occasional 20 something, but most of the women that I see are between, get ready, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, and their
Yes.
80s.
Yes, we love
And
it.
their 80s. And these women in their 80s, let me tell you, they are rocking their best life. They're wearing lingerie and lace
Yes.
knit jumpsuits, and they are finding themselves. We just had a woman, a doctor, who said that she never felt anything in her whole life. And she was now, oh, I don't know, maybe her late 50s or 60s, and she never felt her own pleasure before. And after day one, she came out, she was so shy, and she said, "I think I felt arousal today." And she
Yes.
felt pleasure for the first time, and she also had her first climax here. Then she brought all that information back to her husband, who also was very erotically unschooled, unlearned. So doctors can be erotically unlearned about their own bodies. And so
They don't receive that training in
this isn't
school.
about education. It's not about social class. This is a universal epidemic for female bodies that, apparently is not getting better. What is getting better, Amy, though, is women telling other women bringing friends, women being willing to have their photograph taken, women being willing to give video testimonials. This wasn't the case when I started 16 years ago. And so while our government is currently trying to shut down reproductive rights and purity culture and all this stuff that's happening in certain parts of our country, there's also a liberation movement happening. So interesting, right? At the same time.
Yes, both at the same
It's
time.
it's both this polarity in what we consider women's rights, what a woman's right to choose actually means. I consider it a woman's right to choose to be erotically submissive in the bedroom if I wanna be. That's my feminist choice, if I
Yes.
wanna be, which is different than someone telling me what my choice is.
Right there. Yes. Absolutely. Oh my god. When you were talking about, like, the duality of, both happening at the same time, it reminded me of a previous guest that I had on that works in policy, and so we were talking about policy and censorship, and she brought this beautiful image that, like, it's like a pendulum, but, when the pendulum swings one way, it usually swings back, heavier the other way, and I feel like kind of that, yeah, tug and pull is happening. So good. What does that journey look like from, like, day 1 as women progress through the retreat and drop further and further into somatically into their body, into their pleasure, into their eroticism?
We have one of the first studies that was done on somatic or sexuological body work effects on women. It was an IRB study done through Widener University, led by Dr. Betsy Crane, was the lead scientist. She studied us not because she wanted to study us. She studied us because I had the only repeatable model. So I have a scientifically measurable model. So what we learned
Amazing.
from the study is that women who go through the program, I love this, they have better genital self-esteem.
Ooh,
They
hello.
feel better about their bits, okay? And that's really a big deal to feel better about your vulva.
Yes,
And
huge.
so that was a takeaway. They felt better about their body image. And we have women, again, all shapes, all sizes, and all age groups. And my female teaching staff also represent different bodies. So women aren't
We love
just seeing,
representation.
when they're not just seeing youthful toned bodies on the table. They're seeing bodies like mine, and they're also seeing bodies much larger than mine in erotic pleasure, which permissions women. Well, so it's so different, right? So let's say you're a 40 something, 50 something, 60 something, 70 something, 80 something woman,
So
and
hot.
you see as the demo girl this hot chick in her 20s. So then you say, oh, well, of course she can do this. Look at her. She could have anything. You see my 60-year-old untoned ass on the table. You're like, whoa, look at this. If this, I've never seen anything like this before. And if she can do this, I can do this. So women felt permissioned for the first time around their own body, around body acceptance. Women learned what they desired. Many women have never been asked ever in their life, what do you want? What feels good to you?
Right.
And they have no concept either, because many of them are on a traditional masculine model of sexuality, which is get hard, get off. And so women, they feel women's bodies and they feel wetness, which is the beginning of arousal. Men often mistake that for she's ready. She ain't ready yet. She's
Right.
just like beginning to notice you're there. And so many women, unfortunately, are subjected to premature penetration for most of their sexual lives. And again, no fault of anybody's, nobody knows. Somebody, Court Box, one of my colleagues, said recently, we can use sex to sell everything except sex. Think about
Ooh.
that,
Yes, that's profound.
right? We can use sex to sell clothing and perfume and cars, anything you can think of. But you can't sell sex. Can't use sex to sell sex. So it's really hard to teach people, to get people the education that they need. It's a real job to be able to stay alive on social media and in our world. So what women learned was what their arousal felt like, how to ask for what they want. What are their desires? Like, they get to learn that. And so that's all been studied now. And they can initiate sex maybe for the first time. One of the other big takeaways was they healed their relationships with other women.
I love that. So huge.
So sisterhood. So women, we build a container where we take our competition and compare and contrast as much as we can. So, and we talk about it all the time. We're not comparing, right? We're not doing that game because no one wins for that game, right? So we work on that. And so women left with a big increase in sisterhood. And they make lifelong friends, and then they like to go to programs together, but they're not cliquey. They're really good at welcoming in new women all the time. So instead of giving you a day 1 to a day 5 or a day 8, which is sort of hard to quantify, I gave you the results of the study,
Yeah, huge.
which maybe is better.
Yeah, absolutely, and it sounds like, I mean, just an overall expansive experience too, and
Absolutely.
de-shaming, right? And really coming at head with, like, these internal shame scripts and societal scripts that we've been fed, and that allowance, right, for women to
Absolutely.
feel allowed. I love that you center different, that representation is such a huge piece of what you're doing because that is more of that, please, right? Like, just it's normal bodies doing, like
And doing normal work. I've always used my name. I understand why some people do not, but I don't feel like I'm doing anything shameful. I never have. I have been a public figure since my 30s in fertility. I was on Oprah. Like, name something, I've been on it. So, the light didn't frighten me. What I want my legacy to be is similar to what it was in fertility. So when I started out in fertility, IVF was really brand new in vitro fertilization. Now you can find fertility centers on every corner like you used to be able to find Baskin and Robbins. I would love to see sexual wellness programs that are non-medicalized, that are somatic in basis. And I do believe in support, and I do believe in hormones, just to be clear. But I would love people not to look at it as dysfunction and being broken.
Yes,
We just
huge.
untrained. There's something about becoming erotically fluent. Like, are you erotically
Yes.
fluent? Can you speak erotic?
And you've been saying this from the beginning is like becoming erotically fluent is an ongoing process, right? Like you just get to delve deeper and deeper, right? Into that language, into that becoming. Like
Absolutely.
there's just so many layers to eroticism, which I just fucking love. It's not just PMV and the man's pleasure and everything that how sex has been framed for most of us, right?
Absolutely. And I love a man's pleasure. Like I do.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
I get
absolutely.
off. I totally get off on a man's pleasure. And you have to understand yours first. So, like, I tell women all the time, they're like, "Can I bring this back to my husband? Can I bring this back to my wife?" Because we do have, we are LGBTQ plus friendly. And the answer is yes, and we're not back to the partner. We're back to the body. So if you're
Love
coming
that.
for a relationship work, it will flow into that. But it's not my major concern. My major concern is you. Where are you in your body? Where are you in your pleasure? Where are you in your arousal? Where are you? And then, things will change for you and your partner because you're different. And either they're gonna come along or they won't. And then you have decisions and choices to make.
Yeah, so key to bring it back to you, right? And having that foundation, and I would love can you speak to that about people who their partners don't choose to come on to that journey?
My husband's not on the journey.
Okay.
He's the land manager.
I love it.
He's never been on the journey. Like, if you read my book, there was a moment or two of him trying the journey, and there were things that we're just not interested in the same thing. So I'm a real dominant to submission girl. I'm erotically submissive. I like collared relationships. I don't wanna be collared to my husband. Like, I'm not getting over his need for a spanking. There is no turn on for me for that, nor do I wanna spank him. It's not a relationship. It's not how it was formed. He's not interested in getting on the table, and I can be a table sexual. Like, put me on the table for 2 hours, and I'm a really happy girl with someone
Yeah.
who knows what they're doing. And so we had an agreement at, 25 or 30 years into my 45-year marriage that I would do DS, dominance and submission relationship outside of my marriage. And he's a don't ask, don't tell guy. And we've been together for 45 years. And, you know, I sometimes wonder about people who hold their partners so close that they run away because they suffocate.
I'm in love with your husband and this dynamic that you have created. Like, I think that that's so beautiful. And yeah, as you were talking about people who are holding their partners close, like, what is that about, you know?
Well, I think it's about how we're raised. Remember that sexual authenticity model, right? So desires, actions, community, like how you are raised. And, we're supposed to find everything in each other forever and ever. And I think that that worked really well when we only lived for 10 years and women routinely died in childbirth or men in the Civil War or from tuberculosis and the plague. Marriages didn't last 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. They didn't last. And so you can be serial monogamy. I talk to my girlfriend when I'm bitching about my husband, and I'm like, fuck, man, I could be on my third marriage by now. Like, what? Like, what am I doing? I could, like, easily my second marriage, but really possibly my third. So, there's lots of ways of skinning the cat. And this is how I did it. My husband isn't interested in anything above what's available here. And, jolly good for him. And I like to play with power. And so I have learned that I actually have different identities.
Ooh, I love it.
So I'm a mom and I have sons now in their 30s. That's what happens when, FYI, if you have your babies in your 20s, which is still like kind of respectable, they're adults, but I'm still mom. I'm making the holiday meals and they know what I do. In fact, they're the ones who do my website. I'm getting a brand new one. It's coming in a month.
Yes.
And they're really proud of me, and they don't wanna see mommy's orgasm face in photos. They don't wanna see that. They avoid my social media like the plague, you know? And so that's, like, one identity. I have boundaries about what I talk to my kids about,
So
and they're
huge.
very, very proud of me. For my birthday this year, they framed the LA Times spread for me. They're super proud, but it also doesn't mean they want every detail of my personal life, of my life with their father, etcetera. They don't wanna know everything, and so that's an identity that I have aligned with my actions within my community, and then I also so I'm pretty authentic as fuck there. I'm really
We
good,
love that.
right?
Yes.
And then, there's my marriage and the parts of that which is not always aligned. My desire is not always aligned with my identity. And it's something that I'm increasingly aware of as I grow older that I have to deal with. And then I'm a sex educator. And how is that aligned? That's really good. That's like mommy, sex educator, great. Pamela's personal life, teachy, 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 teachy. I'm doing what you're doing out there, playing with the
Right.
Rubik's Cube. Ooh, that's not working. How can I make that better for myself? The part that I'm super clear on with my three different identities is that I'm one whole woman. I'm one whole
Yes.
woman. And I can choose, what part of me I'm expressing. And that's also just being polite. I'm not going to
Yes.
talk to my very religious sister in law, Church of Christ, about things that were going to make her uncomfortable. That's not being inauthentic. That's really just being appropriate
Yeah, and respectful, as you
and
said.
respectful. So being authentic as fuck doesn't mean doing whatever you want whenever you want to and saying whatever comes in your mind to whoever's in front of you. And I think that that's a
Huge.
misnomer where people are like, well, my feelings, it's about me and my boundaries. Ooh, yeah, get over it.
I love this.
It's
I love
not
it.
just about you. Even when we're coming back to our own bodies, we're in a world. And how do we place ourselves in that?
So, so huge. Yes. We have to remember like, the ecosystem that we're a part of and the
Absolutely.
humanity that we're a part of.
Absolutely.
As we wrap up, I'm obsessed with you. I was before, and now I'm even more obsessed. I'm like, I don't want to wrap up, but we got to go. How can people start this journey of returning back into their bodies? How can they do that at home?
Well, first thing you need to do is leave your home.
Get out of that
Get out.
home.
I ain't coming to Minnesota, honey. I'm sorry. I'm not going to Ohio. I'm not going to Texas, at least, but not right now. So there's a bunch of ways they can. First of all, I put out tons of free media, like free content all the time. So they can follow me on my verified accounts on Instagram at the Pamela Madsen, at Back to the Body org, which doesn't honestly have as much juicy stuff as at the Pamela Madsen. You can get it all there. Or my Facebook. My personal Facebook has all the Back to the Body stuff on it. We have a 4-day to 4-night, 3-day retreat coming up in June where you're not gonna be getting body work, but you're gonna have somatic sexy experiences, which is very low priced. But you do need to come, you need to pack your bag, And we have residential and non-residential. We have a beautiful property here with a pool and hot tubs and mountains, and it's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous here. I have a fire pit. I got it all. And so personal chef, it's all here. So you can come learn for a weekend. We're putting up some new events, some new retreats in August. The first week in August, last week in July, which is also going to be like a back to the body express. So less money, get in and out in 4 days with somatic touch. And then we'll have another entry level retreat for people just their first, not that it's entry level, it's your first retreat in November. There'll be graduates there. But we also have mastery programs, and not everyone is eligible. We only take 30 new clients a year.
Oh,
That's it.
wow. Okay.
Because we can't. This is not work that you can do in front of 3,000 screaming women yelling pussy. It doesn't work.
Right.
We're somatic. So they can go to backtothebody.org and they can sign up for the newsletter and start getting information and let me seduce them into coming.
Yes. Get seduced in your inbox and your social media. We will have all of that linked below. This has been fucking fabulous. And before we wrap up, we love to come to completion here at Come Talk with Amy, AKA the rapid fire round. Pamela, are you ready to come to completion?
I'm always ready to come. Well, not really. I never quite complete, but I'll pretend for you.
All right. A turn on that has nothing to do with sex.
Food.
Yes, so good. What's more powerful, feeling desired or feeling desiring?
I love feeling desired. A good yearning, man. Give me a good yearn.
Yes. Receiving or giving and why?
I think right now I have a lot of fantasies about giving. I get to receive a lot,
Ooh,
and I love receiving, and everyone should receive. But we're talking personally right now. I have obsessions with things that are oral.
all right. I mean, yeah, that one's a hard one for me too because, like,
You receive by giving.
yes, yes, like, as you were talking about watching men get turned on, like, gets you turned on, same, same, it's so hot. All right, slow build or can't keep your hands off energy.
Slow build.
Fill in the blank. A woman becomes more powerful the moment she stops blank.
Trying to control everything.
Yes. Release. Okay. Pleasure gets better when you blank.
Allow it.
Yes, I love that. Okay. What's something that instantly brings you back into your body?
A good spanking.
Yes, we love impact. One permission slip for people at home.
Allow yourself to miss something you think you have to go to in order to have something you really want to do.
Love, love. And that's like been, you've taken us on that journey here. I love that. Okay. Final question. You are allowed to blank.
You are allowed to spend money on yourself.
Yes, please. We love that. Oh my God. Pamela, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. As I said, we will have your information linked. I'm like obsessed with your socials, the goodness that you bring. So good. So, everyone at home, please go and check out Pamela, sign up to her newsletter, and I may just be seeing you at a retreat.
Oh, honey, text me after here. I have something for you.
Yes, yes, I love it. As always, remember to masturbate, lubricate, and get it. Thank you for coming. Please come again, and come again. That's all for today, lover. Remember to masturbate, lubricate, and get it. If you liked this episode, share with a friend, like, subscribe, and as always, thank you for coming. Please come again, and come again.